And greetings, everyone, and welcome to Buzz for Good, where we talk all things nonprofit, the people they serve, and the good they do. And today I am buzzing about SML Gives Incorporated. SML stands for Smith Mountain Lake, and the nonprofit called SML Gives Incorporated works to fight poverty, hunger, and homelessness for the impoverished families and individuals living around the otherwise relatively wealthy lakefront property communities. SML Gives Incorporated is not to be confused with SML Gives Day, which is coming up on March the 18th, though SML Gives Incorporated is participating in the Big Giving Day, and we will do our best to clear up all of this confusion with our conversation with founder, executive director, and president Joey Donovant, who has an incredibly inspiring story to share about his personal journey through pain and addiction that led him to found the nonprofit. We will also share our newest Buzz episode on Blue Ridge PBS that highlights the amazing work that has been done in Franklin County, highlighting the 70 African American men who fought bravely for the Union and freedom in the Civil War in the United States Colored Troops. The Franklin County NAACP unveiled a new statue to the Colored Troops in January, and we featured this ceremony in our newest Buzz, which is now available on our YouTube channel at Buzz for Good. My name is Michael Hemphill. I'm the creator and host of the TV show Buzz that airs every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on Blue Ridge PBS, where we feature the great work of nonprofit organizations and the marketing professionals affiliated with the American Advertising Federation of Roanoke, who donate their time and talent, helping these life-giving organizations achieve more buzz. And you can find out more about our work on our website, buzzforgood.com. That's buzz, B-U-Z-Z, 4, good.com, as well as our social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, all at Buzz for Good. And now, here is my conversation with founder, executive director, and president of SML Gives Incorporated, Joey Donovant. Well, it is my pleasure to welcome to Buzz for Good, Joey Donovant, who is the founder, CEO, and executive director of SML Gives Inc. Welcome.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. For those who are tuning in, share with us exactly what SML Gives Inc. does.
SML Gives Inc. is a nonprofit organization that was established to fight hunger and poverty in the Smith Mountain Lake region, which includes Franklin, Bedford, and Pittsylvania counties.
Gotcha. And I probably people who are familiar with Smith Mountain Lake don't oftentimes think of hunger and housing issues and all these sorts of plights, because the Smith Mountain Lake community is typically a place where more, well-heeled retirees and families have second homes or large first homes, and you don't really consider poverty in that area.
A lot of neighbors don't. They inadvertently have blinders on, and
Yeah.
hunger is often silent. But if you listen, it's there and it's loud. And a great deal of our neighbors in those three counties surrounding the lake, especially once you get further away from lakefront properties where it's extremely rural, there's a huge gaps and barriers to access food. And people are struggling with food insecurity and different sorts of family crisis in the home. And that's why we formed, is to fight hunger and poverty around the Smith Mountain Lake area and connect businesses, neighbors, and the community in that fight.
Yeah. So how do you do that specifically?
So we got our start last year. Well, our start began in 2021, but last year we officially incorporated in the state of Virginia and became a 501c3 tax exempt organization. And we started our first program with a mobile food delivery program. And that was to fill the gap where there are neighbors who are experiencing hunger, but they also are having, they also don't have transportation to get to a local food pantry
Mm.
or a mission. So we partnered up with organizations around the lake to serve this specific group of neighbors who do not have transportation. That's where we began, and our programs have launched right after the other. We we Our office is in Manita on the west side of the lake, West Lake, and it's on the campus of Lake Christian Ministries.
Mm.
They are a vital partner in this. But our end game is to operate our main office or our hub be in the South Lake area in Union Hall, Lake Hill, and serve on the other side of the lake. So right now, what we are doing out of our office in Lake Christian Ministries, we are launching our programs, but we are also developing a roadmap where we're going to take the model that Lake Christian Ministries implements and take it up, bloop, and drop it on the south side of the lake and bridge that gap where transportation and distance is a barrier for neighbors to access the wonderful services over here at Lake Christian Ministries.
Awesome.
We
Awesome.
have
Yeah.
we have
Go
partnered with
ahead.
several programs that have already launched through Lake Christian Ministries facilitating. We've launched our clinical access program where neighbors are getting no cost dental care, and that's for neighbors who are underinsured or no insurance. When they come to Lake Christian Ministries for service, dental treatment is sometimes a part of stabilizing the household. They're in a crisis because of different factors, and that's just one piece that it's in the puzzle of stabilizing a household and contributing to the overall health and well-being of the community. Dental access, the barriers that neighbors face in front of them to it often causes havoc in the home. And that's
Yeah.
just one little piece. We have the clinical access program. We also have our partner pantry program where we source and provide bulk food for other pantries and programs that have a food element. And this is to help with the distribution of food to neighbors that do have transportation.
Mm.
Until we do set up our shop in South Lake and have our pantry on the south side, we facilitate our partner pantry program to get food out to neighbors who have a vehicle.
This is incredible work. Once again, joined here on Buzz for Good by Joey Donovant, who is the founder, executive director, and CEO of SML Gives Incorporated, which basically helps address poverty and hunger and homelessness in the Smith Mountain Lake community of Virginia. And I mean, for an organization that just started last year, 2025, so much is happening already, which is incredible. I mean, how is all this work funded?
Grassroots fundraising, grant writing. I, this is my life, and if anyone knows me, can tell you that I spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on SML Gives Inc. We started with just a little idea, a vision of having an organization that serves neighbors on the south side of the lake. I had been colleagues with the executive director of Lake Christian Ministries for years and had worked with her from the capacity of my previous role within the Feeding America Food Bank Network.
Hmm.
And that's where I met Jane. And so she's been an integral part in building this organization. I, I can't even find the words to say what type of role she's already played in building this.
Yeah.
The support is out there because the need is apparent. So it's not a hard sell to get people to jump on board. We had an open house in the community last June where we were trying to build a board of directors. And for a brand new organization just starting out, we have a nice size board of directors with different community stakeholders and people wanting this to happen and supporting us. We we've grown exponentially in our first we're sitting at 10 months and we're at about the life cycle of a 10-year nonprofit.
Yeah, you are. Right. Right. Well, and as you mentioned, you do this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's obviously a passion project, but it comes from a very personal place for you. And so I'm hopeful that you wouldn't mind sharing some of your personal journey about what led you to found SML Gives Incorporated.
Absolutely. I don't mind sharing it all. Uh, when I graduated college in 2006, I call it a sports injury because it sounds more glamorous, but I fell at the gym. So that's my sports injury. And I was one of those, I was one of those early that got into the opiate crisis a bit
Mm,
early in the
mm,
2000s. I started taking pain medication that was prescribed from a doctor, and it led through for the years of dependency and uh, on opiates. And it initiated and started from a doctor's office, and it was a legitimate injury. And I just kept taking it over the years, and it ended up turning into this monster of an addiction where I
mm.
ended up facing homelessness, incarceration, hunger, all those nasty things that come with being an addiction. And I was able to get myself together after a decade long stint, as they say in that world. I found help with a nonprofit in Durham, North Carolina. It was a 2-year program called TROSA, and I went through that program. I stayed on a little bit longer to give back to the community, and then years later, I moved up here to Smith Mountain Lake while staying with TROSA. And when I was moving to Smith Mountain Lake, I looked for one job, and that was with the Feeding America network of food banks. I had gotten introduced to the food bank system while I was in the program because my job was soliciting products and service donations. And food is a big part of that when you have 500 people in a residential treatment facility. So that's a lot of food. And so I moved up here. I applied for one job, and I was blessed enough to be offered that role at Feeding Southwest Virginia.
Mm.
And when I moved up here into a lakefront home, I just promised myself I would never forget where I came from, and I would do what I can to always help people around me. And so when I started on the journey with the food bank, I would start to have food drives and collect money during the holidays at my best friend's marina. Her name is Lauren Jones, and she runs Magnum Point Marina on the south side of the lake. And she was more than happy to help and jump in. Uh, so we started having food drives and collecting money in a little acrylic box. I think in 2021 we collected $200, and it just grew and grew. And in 2024 we had our first in-person live benefit, and you could have knocked me over with a feather. We raised over $26,000 in
Wow.
one night in
Wow.
Union Hall, Virginia.
Wow. Incredible.
And that was the spark that turned into SML Gives Inc. I knew on December 14th, 2024, that night at Magnum, that this was my destiny.
Mm.
And I've not looked back and have been doing this ever since. We officially incorporated on June 5th of 2025 and awarded our tax exempt status by the IRS. And we had been talking to Lake Christian Ministries. They were nice enough to let us rent an office space over here as we get going. And while our board of directors creates our strategic plan and permits and everything in place to operate on the south side of the lake, we got a new van donated for our mobile food distribution. Uh, Pieces have just come together in a way that you could not tell me that this is not what I'm supposed to do with my life.
Yeah.
Uh, We raised over $50,000 this past Christmas at Magnum Point Marina, and we have our two big fundraisers planned for this year. One of them is at the Coves Amphitheater. It's a farm to table chili cook off the night of a big headlining concert. And our Christmas benefit this year, we're moving it to Waterfront Country Club for a nice sit down dinner and live band. And all of these proceeds that are generated go directly to the programs that we are implementing.
Mm. Again, joined here on Buzz for Good by Joey Donovant, who is the founder, executive director, and CEO of SML Gives Incorporated. SML, of course, meaning Smith Mountain Lake, where his nonprofit, just founded last year, works to address poverty and food hunger. I'm sorry, poverty and hunger and homelessness in that region. And the story you just shared about, kind of the trials and tribulations that you've gone through 15 years ago, could you have possibly imagined that this is what you would be doing?
I probably wouldn't have said something very nice to you. I'd be like, oh, I don't think so. I don't know who you're trying
Yeah.
to pull one over on.
What
I
was,
would never imagine.
yeah, well, tell me if, what was the lowest point of your journey?
The
Yeah.
lowest point of my journey was being in a jail cell alone, cold, withdrawing from opiates, and feeling completely lost and not knowing where to turn and what to
Mm.
do. And it was through the life-saving program at TROSA in Durham, North Carolina, that offered me a place to go and a change in my life. And they do all this at no cost.
Mm.
So it's a nonprofit on its own.
Yeah.
And that's where I got my toes wet in the nonprofit space was at TROSA Inc.
Well, what inspired you to seek them out? I mean, a lot of people who were in your position did not make that kind of choice, or was that choice made for you?
No, I made the choice. I had heard about the program before years ago, and I had made lots and lots of bad decisions. And when it came to a point where my father, told me in no uncertain terms that he wanted me to lose his phone number and never call him again,
Hmm.
within 48 hours, I was on my way to Durham, North Carolina, and never looked back.
Wow.
And now my father and I are have never been closer than we are now. He still lives in Eden, North Carolina, which isn't that far from the lake. So he comes up here all the time to visit. He attends all of our events. Uh, he actually is helping with our second mobile food delivery vehicle, um, to get it on the road and get it ready to be wrapped.
I bet y'all have quite the tandem pair when it comes to making a presentation about the significance of SML Gives Incorporated. When get both of y'all tag teaming that about the power that this nonprofit can have on an individual and a family's life.
It it can't be understated.
Yeah.
He's it's a it's a good place to be when you're able to help other people and you're balancing the scale. I don't think I'll ever be able to balance the scale enough, no matter what I do in my life. But I'm going to continue to
Mm,
try.
mm. No, don't say that, Joey. Don't say that. Yeah. I mean, you've done it. You've done it. Once again, joined here on Bus for Good by Joey Donovan, with the founder, executive director, and CEO of SML Gives Incorporated. And if that name sounds familiar, it may be because there's an event coming up on March the 18th called SML Gives Day, which is somewhat related, but there's some confusion. So why don't you clear up the confusion about SML Gives Day and how it relates to SML Gives Incorporated?
I'll be happy to. Lisa Leet, the executive director of SML Good Neighbors, the organization that hosts SML Gives, the regional giving day. Her and myself are actually getting ready to do a video together to publish, to put out there that it's a dialogue about how this happened. So I'll give you a preview.
Okay.
So back in 2021, shortly after the regional giving day was retired by a foundation that was the original host, SML Good Neighbors activated the regional giving day once again in the fall of 2021. At the same time was when we started hosting food drives and collecting money at Magnum Point Marina, which was where SML Gives Inc. started, being that geographically we're on two different sides of the lake. Unfortunately, even through 4 years, we never knew about each other's separate operation and what was going on. And when it finally did come to light that, oh, oh, oh,
Oh,
then it got interesting.
yeah, right.
And so we're working together. It is not a competition. We are working in complement with all of our partners. We are working together with SML Good Neighbors, and the Giving Day will be transitioning. The branding will be transitioning in 2027 to the wording is changing to get some differentiation between SML Gives Inc. and now it will be SML Giving Day. So it
Okay.
will be obvious that this is a 1 day fundraising event and SML Gives Inc. is the organization.
Very nice. Okay. Okay. Well, for those tuning in who may want to know more about SML Gives the Day, which is March the 18th, it's a day of giving where, let's see, last year they had 37 different organizations that are all around or provide services to the Smith Mountain Lake area. 37 different organizations all came together to have this giving day. About $235,000 were contributed to those organizations throughout the day, and you can find out more about all the nonprofits that are being or participating in that day at smlgives.org. One of those nonprofits is led by my guest here, Joey Donovant, the founder, CEO, and executive director of SML Gives Incorporated. And he's been sharing just his really inspiring story about his personal journey as well as the work that SML Gives Incorporated does to address poverty, hunger, and homelessness in the Smith Mountain Lake region of Virginia. Joey, if you had a magic wand and could maybe perhaps only do one thing that would really help the community that you serve, is that what would that one thing be?
That's a hard question, but I'm glad you asked. It would it would be our it would be our crisis stabilization program.
Okay. What's that?
When our crisis stabilization program is where it looks different within each household. What causes a crisis in a household for this family could be totally different than
Mm,
the family living right next door. As some families are living paycheck to paycheck, and one brief stint of the flu can throw a family into crisis when they've been out of work and they miss one paycheck.
yeah.
It could be health. It could be something that is
Or so,
some,
some medical unexpected medical bill that,
yes,
with healthcare being so exorbitant and the lack of insurance, one ER visit can lead to bankruptcy.
absolutely. The most recent example I have for you is we're delivering food to a family that got stranded. So they got stranded at a pantry. They were able to get a ride through the Medicaid app, and then that the ride service left them. They were stranded for the rest of the day. We were made aware. We took them home across the county and to Rocky Mount. And while we were there and dropping them off and helping them with their supplies, we learned that they did not have a stove, they didn't have a washer, and they didn't have a dryer. And I made it my personal task to find this family, all three of those. It took me a while, but we were able to, with the community support, provide this family with a brand new set of a washer and a dryer and a factory refurbished stove.
Wow.
It, and now that whole process has opened up other opportunities to partner with the source where we procured these items, which is now going to be one of the parts of this program. Not having a stove, which caused this family to have to prepare food from an air fryer and just a microwave. If
Mm.
you are a forward thinker at all, look at the long-term implications of eating that type of food. It's going to cause health problems. It's going to cause a lot of other issues later on down the line, if not soon. So these are fundamental appliances that it's a human need. It's not superfluous to have a stove,
Yeah.
right? So part of stabilizing this family started with appliances.
Wow. Wow. So that's the big need that if someone could only maybe help out in one way, it would be through that fund that y'all have.
Yes, for our crisis stabilization, we have a specific fund. It's called the Beacon Fund.
Okay.
People who support or want to support this program are beacons of light in
Mm.
a world that can be dark for neighbors
Yeah.
sometimes. And we want to be that organization that works with all the other organizations to be a light in a family's or a family in need.
Hmm. Hmm. So that was there something else that you wanted to make sure that we covered while we were talking here that I could then include elsewhere in the episode?
We just got our permit for our lot, so we're going to buy a residential lot in Union Hall, and we get to build our commercial building on it.
Wow.
Um, we have we have some legacy donors lined up to make large contributions to pay for the building. Just raising awareness. So, uh, we have two flagship events this year. Uh, Tito's Vodka. I don't know. I guess because they saw such a huge spike in sales in the region, they knew it was me. So they're sponsoring our tailgate at the Coves, and this is just not good for us. This is good for the whole community. Brand recognition going to the Coves.
Yeah.
So the Coves, are you familiar with the Coves?
Yeah, I've been to the concert there.
Okay, so the owner of the Coves, Dennis Crumpler, I live on the same road where the Coves is.
Okay.
And I had been there 5 years, never met him. He heard about what we had going on through Dan Quinn, and I've been at lunch with both of them. He brings us into the Neighbors in Need Coalition, which is a group, it was a group of four charities that get the proceeds from the charity concert series. He brought us in and presented us in the program in the public in December when he did their big celebration and check distribution. And beyond that, he's letting us have our summer charity fundraiser at the Coves the night of the Marshall Tucker Band concert.
Wow.
Tito's is sponsoring, so you'll see Tito's everywhere. They're sending three activation team members. It's insane.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. We know some of the same people. I think you know BJ Robertson,
Oh
and I
yeah.
know Barry Robertson, his
Okay.
daddy.
Yeah.
He was just here in the office last week for about 3 hours. When they were Lester Foundation, they're the foundation that gave us our very first grant.
They are spectacular, spectacular people. Uh, the what was then the Louise Lester Foundation is now the Robertson Family Foundation has been such a generous supporter of my work highlighting various nonprofit organizations on my TV show Buzz. And we actually just started this week. Funny you should mention them. Our newest episode starring On Our Own of the Roanoke Valley, which is a 7 day a week, 365 days a year drop-in center for people suffering from various addictions and mental health issues. Just a place where they can go have community, get some peer-led counseling. We just started that yesterday, and that's all due to a grant from the Robertson Family Foundation, which has also supported our episodes on Masterpiece Alliance, which provides community for adults with intellectual disabilities, for the West End Center, an after-school program for low-income families. St. Francis Service Dogs. I mean, they're just a great organization. I'm so thrilled that they've connected with you as well.
I read all that. I've been reading about uh, Bus for Good since last year.
Well, despite my struggles, I'm very appreciative of your patience and persistence. I can see why your nonprofit is thriving because you do not take no for an answer. And that's critical. I mean,
No,
you, you keep on coming back. And I did, just so I applaud you for the work that you've done. And I really appreciate your willingness to share your story here on our radio show and podcast. And I hope we're able to someday soon buzz for our TV show.
sounds amazing. We have a new vice president who is Kevin Bugg. He founded another charity at the lake called Real Connections for Kids, and they serve the same families we serve and give families a chance to get out on the lake twice a year with fishing. They have like 12 different chartered boats, and the volunteers take these kids out on the lake and take them fishing for a day. They catch the fish, they come back to a cookout where they feed the families, provide them transportation to get to the lake, clean the fish after they get fed, and have this celebratory cookout. They get to go home with their new fishing rod
Yeah.
and
Wow.
fish to be prepared at home and recipes. And it's, he came on board just at the right time
Yeah.
before, you know, someone else did.
Fantastic. Well, Joey Donovant, executive director, and CEO of SML Gives Incorporated. More information can be found at smlgivesinc.org. Thank you so much for coming on to Buzz for Good. Thank you for all the work that you are doing to make the Smith Mountain Lake region of Virginia an even better place to live. Really appreciate your time and all you're doing being a Buzz for Good.
Thank you for having me, Mike.
And that was my conversation with Joey Donovant, founder, executive director, and president of SML Gives Incorporated. And more information, once again, can be found at smlgivesinc.org. Speaking of websites, you can find out more about our work, highlighting and helping nonprofit organizations throughout Southwest Virginia, by going to our website, buzzforgood.com. That's buzz, B-U-Z-Z, 4, good.com. I would also encourage you to check out our social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok, all at Buzz for Good. We are currently working on 2 very different episodes featuring 2 very different nonprofits in the Roanoke region. One highlights an organization called On Our Own of the Roanoke Valley, and On Our Own operates out of a home in Old Southwest part of Roanoke, where people who are suffering from various addictions and mental health issues can stop in 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and receive counseling and other services. We're also producing an episode right now starring the Southwest Virginia Wildlife Center. And this past week, we were able to video a bobcat that had been rescued by the Southwest Virginia Wildlife Center. Unfortunately, the bobcat had been too domesticated to release back into the wild, and so they were getting ready to send the bobcat to a zoo in Oklahoma City. It's going to be an awesome episode as well. And so we would hope that you would tune into our social media channels to stay connected with our work featuring these two new organizations. But for now, as I mentioned at the start of the show, we had a new episode air this past week on Blue Ridge PBS featuring the Franklin County NAACP and its work to raise the shade on the untold story of 70 black men from the county who somehow escaped the South to fight for the Union in the Civil War. The NAACP, with funding from Virginia Tech's Monuments Across Appalachian Virginia program, which in turn was funded by the Mellon Foundation, recently unveiled a new statue honoring these men's service and sacrifice. And today, we want to share portions of that show here with you, and we hope it inspires you to go to our YouTube channel to watch the episode for yourself.
For the longest time, those soldiers just never got any recognition of even being in the war. I never knew that we had black soldiers in our world war. So to know that they are finally get the recognition, and I feel like they're finally at peace. They're resting, and look at the sun's coming out. It was shady earlier, but now look, they're raising the shade. I love it. Love it.
They're not the rich and famous. Their profit comes not from the thing they sell, but the good they do. Our nation has more than 1.5 million nonprofits that employ 1 out of 10 Americans, providing services that otherwise go unfulfilled, keeping our community connected when all else fails. But nonprofits often lack the tools to properly promote themselves, to inspire more donors and volunteers and clients to their cause. That's where I come in. I've been in the nonprofit world for nearly 20 years. I connect nonprofits with marketing professionals who donate their time and expertise so that, at the end of the day, these life-giving organizations can do more, do better, by creating more, that's right, buzz. In January 2025, we embarked on a year-long journey with the Franklin County, Virginia chapter of the NAACP. While their mission may have been sparked by protests over a Confederate statue standing on the courthouse lawn, it inspirationally pivoted with the discovery of an untold chapter of its history. How 70 brave black men from the county somehow escaped the shackles of slavery and prejudice to fight for the Union and freedom in the Civil War as members of the United States Colored Troops. The NAACP called its work Raising the Shade and received a grant from Virginia Tech's Monuments Across Appalachian Virginia through funding from the Mellon Foundation. Throughout 2025, its members held countless conversations, research presentations, and workshops to share the stories of these African American ancestors. Culminating their work, the creation of a new statue, one of fewer than 25 in all the United States, honoring the service and sacrifice of the United States Colored Troops. On today's episode of Buzz, we complete our journey with the NAACP by proudly featuring the statue unveiling ceremony that occurred during Martin Luther King Jr. weekend of 2026, outside the historic African American Church of First Baptist.
My name is Leonard Boyce, Martinsville, Virginia. I am Deputy Commander of the Martinsville and Henry County Veterans Honor Guard, and we honor all our fallen comrades, help with their funerals. And we're always looking for troops, especially young guys. We're getting over the hill here, need somebody to replace us. It is an honor for me to be here, not only because they are black, but if they've served the military, if they wore a uniform for 24 hours, I'm glad to be there to honor them, regardless who it is, how old or how young. That means color doesn't matter. We're all brothers and united in the military.
Among the attendees was sculptor Paul DiPasquale, who also was responsible for the statue to famed African-American tennis player Arthur Ashe, which stands on Monument Avenue in Richmond.
And there was no question about whether I wanted to do it or not. This is a momentous piece in that it represents, particularly in Rocky Mount, It represents a history that hasn't been uncovered and is meaningful to many people who were residents of Franklin County. When you've been working on a statue for 2 years, with everybody involved, with the excitement that builds over the time, it becomes the most important when it's finished. And so this ranks number one.
On behalf of the Franklin County NAACP, the Mellon Foundation, and Virginia Tech's Monuments Across Appalachian Virginia program, I extend, believe it or not, a warm welcome to all on behalf of Raising the Shade, Franklin County 1850-1910 project. My deepest thanks on behalf of our committee, the NAACP, for your presence here on this not so warm winter day. This project shines the light on unresearched, unspoken history of 70 Franklin County born black men who fought for the Union as United States colored troops. We're here today to unveil and dedicate this monument to those 70 United States colored troops, who were part, by the way, of over 200,000 United States colored troops who fought for the Union in the Civil War. For too long, their names and their service were absent from the public record and from our shared history. Today, we correct that silence. This unveiling event will celebrate the first monument of its type in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Eternal God, our creator and sustainer, we gather today on this sacred ground made holy by the footsteps, faith, and the fierce courage of these 70 United States colored troops. We stand in this moment in remembrance and revelation. We pause to honor the men who fought for a freedom they had not fully yet received, who believed in a nation who did not yet believe in them, who marched with justice, with nothing but hope and heart in heaven on their side. Lord, we thank you for their sacrifice. We thank you for their strength. We thank you for the legacy that they left us, a legacy that is carved not only in bronze, but in the soul of this nation. May this statue stand as a witness of truth, a testimony of dignity, a reminder that freedom has always required faith and courage. As we unveil this monument today, let us also unveil our conscience. Let us unveil our commitment to justice. Let us unveil our commitment to equality. Let us unveil our willingness to work in the footsteps of those who fought, bled, and believed. Let this moment deepen our resolve to build a community where all people are valued, where history is honored, where truth is told without fear or apology. Bless this gathering, bless this dedication, bless this monument, and bless the descendants, the families, and this community who carry this history in their bones. And may the spirit of these 70 brave soldiers continue to guide us toward unity, compassion, equality, justice, and a more perfect union. In your holy and righteous name we pray, amen. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor, brother, friend. It's now my privilege to introduce my friend Larry Moore. Larry Moore, as I think many know, is a retired lieutenant colonel, United States Army. Larry is bringing our unveiling address. I invite you to come, brother.
You all are lucky. I came here with 20 pages to read, but I think I'd be the only one left here if I read them. 407 years ago, beginning in 1619, our forefathers brought forth on this continent a new people, not conceived in liberty and not dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. They were born out of the hulls of slave ships with shackles around their ankles and wrists, stripped not only of their clothing and sold on the auction blocks in public squares, but also stripped of their culture, their language, their education, and their dignity. They were denied rights, denied promises, and denied any assurance that they or their descendants would ever be recognized as Americans. Yet today, here in Rocky Mount, Virginia, we stand before you to present a truer, more inclusive, and more accurate history. We honor 70 enslaved men from Franklin County who, against unimaginable odds, escaped slavery and joined the Union forces. They fought not only for themselves, but for the freedom and rights of generations they would never live to see. As Ronald Reagan once reminded us, you can move to Korea, but you will never become a Korean. You can move to China, but you will never become Chinese. You can move to Russia, but you will never become Russian. Yet in America, anyone from anywhere can come to America and become an American. These men claimed that truth long before the nation was ready to acknowledge it. So today, well, no, unveil it. So today, as we unveil this monument, let us remember that history is not only written in books or carved in stone. It lives in the stories we choose to honor, the truths we choose to tell, and the courage we choose to recognize. And now, with humility and reverence, we say to those who were born in bondage, who labored in slavery, and who nonetheless served this country with honor, especially the 70 United States colored troops born in Franklin County, we say, welcome home, Americans.
The new statue adds to Franklin County's already rich Black history, and the unveiling attracted luminaries, both physically and virtually, from around the country, such as Adam Clayton Powell IV, whose politically powerful New York City family descended from his great-grandfather, born into poverty in Franklin County just weeks after the end of the Civil War.
I had never actually been to Franklin County before, so when Glenna invited me, I said yes, I would love to. I'm overwhelmed. I walked down the hill and just started to see more and more people. I was just really floored. It was amazing to see all people from all walks of life, everybody from different parts of the town, different young and old, all here to celebrate this. It's really moving, very, very exciting. So,
Hey, this is Stephen Curry here. I just want to say a heartfelt congratulations to the Franklin County Citizens NAACP and the VT monuments across Appalachian, Virginia, and the initiative and the dedication for the 2-year project, Raising the Shade. I know the USCT troops who fought during the Civil War need to be remembered and celebrated, so this is a big time honor. I just want to say congratulations for all that you've done and what this legacy will mean for now and in the future. Peace.
My name is Dr. Sarah Washington O'Neill Rush. As the great-granddaughter of Booker T. Washington, I am pleased to bring greetings on behalf of the Washington family during this momentous and historic occasion. I am certain our great ancestors and my great-grandfather are smiling down from heaven. As you celebrate the lives of these 70 extraordinary Black men who courageously fought for their freedom and the preservation of the Union during the Civil War, keep in mind that by doing so, they were also fighting for us and our freedom.
Hi, I'm Beth Macy. I'm a local writer. I'm running for Congress. I just thought it was really important to be here because this is my community. I've done a lot of research on African American history out of Franklin County. My second book, True Vine, told the story of George and Willie Muse, who were kidnapped and sold to the circus. And I did a lot of deep dive in just how important these untold stories are to come out. And I'm just so grateful to Mav for putting this project together and for all the folks who work so hard to make it happen. It's never too late to tell the truth.
I would not miss this for anything in the world. What a historic moment. And for the Franklin County NAACP to take up this mission, we could not be more proud of the organization and what they have accomplished. It's not easy when you go into uncharted waters. And that's what they did without fear and learned so much and have put out so much education to the community. So to see all of these people out here today, they did the right things for the right reasons.
Also joining the festivities was Bruce C. Bryan, whose Roanoke marketing agency, 5 Points Creative, donated a comprehensive public relations plan to inspire more buzz for the statue unveiling.
You know, to see the things that people put together, the years of work that went into this, to see the mix of memory and art is inspiring. It was a lot to absorb. It really was. Meaningful, very meaningful. And it's interesting because you wouldn't think a monument would have personality, but that soldier, when you look in his eyes, there's personality there. It's powerful.
After the unveiling, the party moved to the Harvester Performance Center for music and more presentations. Stealing the show was storyteller and actor Raphael Sears. For years, Sears had been researching his great-great-great-grandfather, Peter Hooks, who had served as a private in the United States Colored Troops. An affidavit in his ancestors' pension file made reference to Franklin County, Virginia.
And there was always this question about Franklin County because he is the start of my family. My grandmother is his great-granddaughter, and he is the start of my Nashville line. But I never knew about who he was before he enlisted in Elk River, Tennessee. And so I've always said I need to come to Franklin to see if there's some more information about him. And last month, I started doing research again. I said, let me get to this affidavit. Let me try to transcribe this thing again. And I started Googling. I said, let me find out some more information about him, about Franklin County. And I stumbled upon Raising the Shade website. Wow. And it was a profile on Peter Hooks. And I'm like, the first thing I said, I was like, did I upload something? Because I got ADHD. So I don't know if I did it or not. And so I was like, wait a minute, what? Somebody knows him? Wait a minute, what's going on? And they created this whole profile, genealogical profile on Peter Hooks. And it had the pension information. I mean, just answer some questions that I had been having, the brick walls. And I immediately reached out. And I was like, hey, that's my third great grandfather. I've been doing research on him. I would love to, find out about his life in Franklin. And I sent that email a month ago, right? I think I got a call. What was it? Sunday, y'all. So my email got lost in spam. So when I say that the timing of me finding out and being here today, I think that was God ordained. I mean, it's crazy. And I think my ancestor has something to do with that. So I just want to say thank you to everybody here, and thank you for Raising the Shade. Y'all have truly blessed me. When I say it came at the right time, it came at the right time. So I thank you. I do better playing the character. So y'all got some good nuggets out of this. Great, praise the Lord. 'Cause I don't know what I'm saying, but thank you, y'all. And man, this has been beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
I didn't know that I would be this emotionally affected, but this has been wonderful.
Such an honor for Monuments Across Appalachian, Virginia to be here today to celebrate with Raising the Shade. I'm getting emotional. I do a very little piece of this work. We hand the work off to the rest of our Monuments Across Appalachian, Virginia team into the projects themselves. And they carry such a big burden, and they pour their hearts and their lives into it. And hours and hours, countless hours. So for me to be able to peek in every once in a while in the progress they're being made, and then see it culminate in this beautiful unveiling today, it's tremendous.
I was very pleased with the expression of it. It looks strong, and a person who is still got some strength and is ready to make the next move in life beyond war. And freedom is something you have to work on for a long time. We know now that we started this nation 250 years ago, and look, we're still struggling a little bit to find freedom for all the people that live here in this country. It's a good idea. We just got to do better at getting to it.
And that will do it for today's Buzz for Good. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to our work as we try to highlight and help nonprofit organizations throughout Southwest Virginia. Again, you can find out more about our work at buzzforgood.com, BUZZ4good.com, and our social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok, all at Buzz for Good. We hope you will join us next time when we feature all new nonprofits here on our show. Until then, we hope that you remain a buzz for good in the community that you hold dear, and support these nonprofits that are working tirelessly each and every day to make your community an even better place to live. Bye now.